Good morning. This is the regularly scheduled Board of Fire Commissioners meeting of November 18th, 2025. We're starting at 9. Ms. Hill, would you call the roll?
Good morning. President Hudley Hayes.
Here.
Vice President DeLucas.
Here.
Commissioner Babcock. Here. Commissioner Garfield. Here. Commissioner Woods Gray.
Here.
Fire Chief Jamie Moore.
Here.
Deputy City Attorney Linda Nguyen.
Here.
And we have quorum.
Chief Moore, can you open the meeting for us?
Yes, if everybody could please stand, face the flag, put your right hand over your heart, and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I could ask you all to please join me in a moment of silence in honor of past, present members of the Los Angeles Fire Department, as well as those from other agencies who devote their lives to the protection of our community. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please be seated.
Thank you. We have now moved on to that portion of our meeting for commissioner comments. Commissioners?
Good morning.
Commissioner Woods Gray?
I just want to acknowledge Native American Heritage Month, which for some reason, I don't know what happened to me last month, because I usually started off at last meeting. I always start the months off with that acknowledgement. But today, it's really obvious for us that we have work to do in LAFD in this department, because we have a recruitment report that's going to talk about the lack of Native Americans in the LAFD. But there are some, and so we want to acknowledge that this is a month that we can learn more about. And maybe the audience can help us in identifying places where we can recruit more Native Americans. And that would be much appreciated. So if you hear this and you know of something, help us, tell us, because we want to be a very inclusive department, and there's room for everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank
Welcome
you.
to our new chief, officially.
Yeah.
Oh, you calling on me?
Yes, okay. I'm sorry. Vice President DeLucas? Yes.
Aside from attending several wonderful hearings for our new chief and his swearing in, I also had some really interesting and inspiring meetings about our recruitment, our youth development and recruitment. Met with some great folks over at Frank Hodgkins, and we're going to hear from them a little later. And I also was able to go to the culminating ceremony at Camp Spark, which makes me realize I really need to go, and I had a very packed weekend. But next year, or when it happens next, I definitely want to go for some of the exercises, because it was just amazing to see these 57, I think, almost all young women, a couple of young men, be so excited about what they'd accomplished that very rainy weekend. So that was exciting and fun.
Okay. I have comments to make as well. My first comment is to say welcome to Chief Moore. I am making my own comment. I am fully supportive of your appointment. I would like to thank Mayor Bass. I would like to thank the full City Council for confirming you. I believe that you are exactly what I'm looking for in a fire chief. I think that there isn't another candidate that I can think of that will be able to do what needs to be done to be able to stabilize the department, to be able to move forward with a vision. I want to state at this point that Chief Moore was gracious enough to meet with me and our independent assessor, Mr. Eisen, to talk about how we could work together. Chief Moore was very clear about the fact that we all have the same goal. We are different sides of the house. We do different things. The Fire Commission does oversight. the chief runs the fire department, but we all have the same goal. And I have to tell you that I am so encouraged that you were willing to agree that we should have a relationship with you that is honest, that is transparent, and that we will be working on issues together. I am looking forward to making sure that the commission gets the reports that it needs. I'm looking forward to the fact that the commission will be getting high-level reports, that we will be able to work with you so that we can discharge our duty of oversight and we can support you in your duty as the head of the Los Angeles Fire Department, as the permanent chief to the fire department. So I want to thank you very much for that. I want to thank you very much for that meeting, and I look forward, personally, I look forward, I'm not speaking for other commissioners now, but I look forward to working with you into the future, Chief Moore. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you,
And,
Madam President.
Thank you for taking on this job. It's a big job, it's a complex job. I realize that it's going to take time away from your family, and so I want to thank your family for lending you to us in this work that we do. So I want to say that first. And I want to say to you that I read what you have on the portal to all members, and I absolutely think that this is one of the best things that I've seen for someone to put forth exactly how they feel, what their expectations are. So I want to thank you for this as well.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I also want to clarify some things. I've been very troubled by what I have been reading in the press and what I've been seeing in the press and how things have been conflated that should not be conflated. And I would like to, from my perspective, set the record straight. There have been all kinds of comments in the newspaper about the after-action review, and why didn't it include this, and why didn't it include that, and how come this wasn't taken into consideration, and all of those kinds of things. And I would like to say, for the record, that the after-action review that was presented to the commission is exactly what we asked for. An after-action review is exactly that. It is not an investigation. It should not include things that the newspaper seems to feel like should be included in an after-action review. So I would like to read to you what the California Code of Regulations, Title 19, Section 2450 states. And I spoke with our attorney from the city attorney's office for public safety, because I wanted to make sure that I was sure about what I was going to say today. So on the 20th of February, I asked for the legal requirements for what a fire department was required to do. And this is what it says. It says, any city and county or county declaring a local emergency for which the governor proclaims a state of emergency shall complete and transmit an after-action report to the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services, CalOSHA, within 90 days of the close of the incident period. The after-action report shall be a review of response, actions taken, applications of standardized emergency management systems, suggest modifications to SEMS, necessary modifications to plans and procedures, identifying training needs, and recovery activities to date. That is what an after-action review is designed to do. And that is what the commission asked the department to provide. This conflating other things that should have been in an after-action review are things that do not belong in an after-action review. An after-action review is a learning tool. An after-action review talks about what a fire department did within the first 72 hours of a fire. that was what we got. Anyone can have an opinion about that. There's all kinds of things in the press that are saying that the after-action review wasn't complete, or having their opinions about what should have been in it, what should not have been in it. This is what an after-action review does. There were 42 recommendations to my remembrance, 42, 47, maybe 42. The commission's job as oversight is to take those 42 recommendations, to look at our fire chief and ask our fire chief to present us with a plan on how he intends to, in fact, meet the requirements of what he's going to do about those recommendations. It is not the commission's job to tell the fire chief how he should respond to 42 recommendations, but it is the Fire Commission's job doing oversight to ask the fire chief to provide us with a report with specificity about how he plans on responding to those 42 recommendations. My understanding is that some of those recommendations have already been responded to. Some of those recommendations have already been put in place. I would like for the commission to get a report on those recommendations, Chief Moore, that have already been put into place. And I want specifically to understand why they were put in place first. Are there solutions? Is there training that came out of that? Is there some impact on the budget? Are we going to need funding to make sure that those recommendations continue? And I am asking that report to come back only about the recommendations that have been put into place. I'm asking for that to come back as a report at our December 2nd meeting. Because if they've already been actualized, then there should not be a problem with you providing us with what's being done. That's the first thing. I believe, in all fairness to you, other commissioners can say how they feel, but I believe, in all fairness to you, that we should wait for you to put a plan together until the first of the year. I believe that either at the first or the second meeting in January, I believe that we should give you an opportunity to put a plan together, to provide us with that plan, and to let us know how you're going to continually keep the commission informed as we go along. So we should be having updates. Once you put the plan before us, we should be having regular updates about how we're moving forward with those 42 recommendations. I also know that there has been in the press a lot of conversation about emails and text messages and things like that. I have not seen those. I've not seen a copy of any text messages. I know it came from a public records request, but as a member of a board that does oversight, I've not seen those emails. I've not seen those text messages, and therefore I have no idea what those text messages are. I don't know what they mean, and I don't know at all anything about how those should be judged, how those should be used. And so my opinion is, if I have not seen something, if I have not seen a hard copy of that, then personally, I am going to believe that whatever they are and whoever asked for them really doesn't have any bearing on the work of the Fire Commission, because I have not seen them. And I'm suggesting that anybody that wants to come before the commission, provide us with some kind of hard copies, then that would be the time when, if there was a request made through the fire chief or someone, that we should then take that up. But I'm not willing to take up anything that I haven't seen. And I don't know what it is, and I don't know what they said or any of that kind of stuff. I also want to say, in all honesty, that I did receive a copy of a letter that was sent to Mayor Bass. It was sent to the council president, Harris Dawson, and it was sent to Councilwoman Tracy Park. It's a 7-page document that, of course, is in the public. This was not sent to the Fire Commission. We did not, this was not addressed to the Fire Commission. It was addressed to these 3 people, not to the Fire Commission. It wasn't signed. So this is an anonymous 7-page document. I don't know who wrote it, and I don't tend to give any weight to any kind of a document where people are not willing to sign their names. You're going to write a document, you're going to put it out in public, you're going to excoriate a fire chief, say that someone is ill-prepared, not competent, and you're not willing to sign your name to it. As far as I'm concerned, this document has nothing to do with oversight for the Fire Commission. And so I do not intend to speak about this. I don't intend to talk about this. I do not intend to answer any questions about this. It didn't come to us, and it's unsigned. And for me, that means that I am not going to take this document seriously. I also want to say that it is one of the most, this is just a poorly put together document, which also gives me pause. And I really now am speaking totally for myself. There are so many spelling errors. There are so many grammatical mistakes. There are so many parentheses. It starts and it doesn't end anywhere. If somebody's going to put together a document, they're not going to sign it, but they're going to try to convince me or anybody else that they are seasoned chief officers, that they rise to the level of executive on the fire department or retired from the fire department, and they put together a document like this. I have no idea why I would give this any weight. And so that is my final comment about this document. I want to say that I don't believe that we are having a new beginning. I believe that we're having a beginning, the Fire Commission. We are having a beginning. I've only been back on the Fire Commission for less than 2 years. And in that time, we have had 3, including Fire Chief Moore, we have had 3 fire chiefs. The department has been destabilized, I believe, because we have had 3 different changes in administration. This is not a new beginning for me. This is the beginning for me. Now that we have a permanent, highly qualified, highly respected fire chief in place, I would like to take up our work with you, Chief Moore, now. I am not going to go back into the past. I am not going to talk about the past. It keeps us in the past. And what I want to say is I would like to move forward, and I would like to spend our time working with you, listening to you, and hearing how you are going to implement these 42 recommendations that came out of an after-action review, not an investigation, but a review of what happened in the first 72 hours of the Palisades fire. It has nothing to do and should not have had anything to do with the Lockman fire, because that is not what we asked for. And when we asked for this report, the after-action review, which we were supposed to do anyway legally, there was no conversation about a fire on the 1st of January, and there should not have been in this report. I also want to once again go over with those of you that are in the room and those of you that are listening what the powers and the duties are of the Los Angeles Fire Commission itself. So it says in the city charter. The authority, powers, and duties of this commission are those prescribed under the general provisions applicable to departments and commissions established by charter, administrative code, ordinance of the city of Los Angeles, by statutes of the state of California, or by law. Pursuant thereto, this commission shall make and enforce the rules and regulations of the fire department, together with such other orders and directives as may be desirable or necessary to supervise, control, regulate, and manage the department, and to instruct the fire chief. That is our role, and that is the only role that we have. We do not run the fire department. We oversee the fire department. So we're the checks and balances, and we're the check. We do our work through conversations with a fire chief. And I once again want to say to you, thank you very much for having that meeting with us, for us all to come to that understanding that although we are different sides of the house, we all share the same goal. And I want to acknowledge that, and I want to appreciate that you were able to do that for myself and for Mr. Eisen, who is our independent assessor. I also would like to say publicly that the Fire Commission's office has to be, over the 10 years that I was on the Fire Commission 10 years ago, the Fire Commission office is staffed now by one person, and that is our independent assessor, Mr. Eisen. Our budget is included in the fire department's overall budget. We need 3 additional positions if we are to do our work. If we are actually to do oversight, we can no longer sit here and say that we're going to do that, and we have one staff, and that is Mr. Eisen. We should have a management analyst too. We should have a special investigator, and we should have an administrative assistant to be able to do the work that we are required to do. And so I am asking at this time to make sure that that's included in the fire department's overall budget. I will be sending a letter to the mayor, to the president of the city council, and to every other city council member requesting that we have the staff necessary to really do oversight, as opposed to pretending that we're doing oversight or pretending that we have the bandwidth to do good oversight. So those are my comments. Any fire commissioner that would like to make additional comments, but those are my comments. And those are the things that I am looking for moving forward. Commissioner Garfield.
Thank you. Commissioner Hudley Hayes, thank you so much for your remarks. As usual, they're very comprehensive. There are a couple things that I wanted to add, and that is that as we look at what has happened recently in the fire department, particularly the Palisades fire, obviously, we're not asking you to limit yourself to the 42 proposals, but to supplement that with any proposals that you find are necessary and important. Additionally, in terms of the Lockman fire, though absolutely that was not the people who were charged with putting together the after-action report, were not charged with incorporating that, but now that we know that the Lockman fire has some relationship with the Palisades fire, I hope that you will also be able to include that in any additional information that you provide, both to the commission as well as to the public.
Thank you. Are there any other commissioners that have comments? Commissioner Woods Gray?
I just wanted to thank you, Madam President, for your comments. I think they were right on target. I just think that the chief would probably, I would recommend February as opposed to as at the earliest for a report back, so that there's plenty of time. Since we have the holidays and all these things coming up, I think they need the time.
Okay, I accept that. Commissioner Babcock? I'm good. You good? Commissioner Vice President DeLukich?
Good, I'm good.
You good? No comments? Okay. We will now move on.
Thank you. Our first speaker is Guy Tomlinson. If you can come to the podium and state the items you would like to speak on.
All items.
Okay, you have 3 minutes.
Good morning, Fire Commission. Newly promoted Fire Chief Moore, City Attorney. I'm Guy Tomlinson, President of the COA. Today is going to be an easy day. Welcome and congratulations. We look forward to the working relationship, the collaboration that it's going to take to accomplish the 5 points that you've put on the portal. And we look forward to working with the commission on making him successful as well. At that, thank you. You can have your 2.5 minutes back.
Our next speaker, excuse me, Laura FM?
Hi.
Good morning. What items would you like to speak on?
General public comment, please.
Okay, you will have 1 minute.
Thank you. Hi, board. Hi, I did officially meet you, sort of, Chief. I'm very excited. Again, you said, President, a new beginning. I was a born and raised child in Scientology. I'm almost 40 years old now. My parents are still in the cult. My dad is washing dishes at the bottom of the blue building, has been in this. You kind of remind me of my dad a little, so it's a little touching. And I hope that we can really separate ourselves from Scientology. There's so much human trafficking and child abuse and elderly abuse and neglect going on. They don't believe in psychiatric care or medical care, period. So right there, the elderly walking around are not getting proper health, proper care. They get $47 or less a week. My dad works over fucking 100 plus hours in Scientology 24/7. He has a schedule that he has to stick to 24/7. His sleep is scheduled. So me walking by protesting, he heard and saw me, was not allowed to talk to me. The abuses run all the way down into the city. It runs all the way down into the fire department.
Thank you.
This is a book.
Time.
May I please give this to the fire chief? Okay. But
Thank you.
this is for you, and I will at some point make sure you get it. Thank you for listening.
Can she leave the book with someone?
Yeah, I should be able to give it to somebody that
Yeah.
can give it.
Leave it with Ms. Hill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, Audit LA. Good morning. Good morning. What items would you like to speak on?
All items, please.
Thank you. You have 3 minutes.
Does it go up any? Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, yeah, I think that works. I got it. Good morning, and I want to say congratulations and welcome, Chief, and I'm glad you're on board. Friendly face, and I appreciate you, and the whole, in this board, this commission. I think you're, I've always support LAFD in all the meetings. I'm always supporting you getting more budget. I don't think the city treats you very well when it comes to the budget. But that being said, I'm an advocate for Laura and many others, children, former children born and raised in Scientology. And we need some changes. The city is too much in bed with Scientology. We went to one of their events, outside checking, and there was a fire department vehicle outside, and we don't know why. But there's been, there's been too much of an arrangement between Scientology and its local, and this is I'm not trying to slight the local department, but there's been arrangements because for years and years and years, you only hear what Scientology says, that they're so great, they do community events, but they don't tell you of the living hell that the victims have gone through. And it's not just Laura. There's thousands of people that have come forward now, and hundreds who have, who have suffered, hundreds who have come forward and who are trying to get their stories out. It's all the same stuff. Nothing changes. Like the details may change, but the overall story is the same. It's abuse and neglect. And when they have their permits to shut down the street, okay, and I know I've been saying this over and over again, they do not provide a 20-foot, fire lane. And I know the local captain has said, well, we can zigzag through. Well, the most recent ones, they don't even provide that. There's nothing. There's no even zigzag ability to go through because the city just allows them to get, to break the rules because, I don't know, is it because they're a religious institution, supposedly, or is it because, they just have relationships because they've built, they ingrain themselves into everything? I don't know, but the rules are the rules. And as you hear, there's seniors in these buildings. They're not being taken well care of. But if there was an emergency and they have an event going, you couldn't even get through to even help them. It's got to stop. They have to abide by the rules. And all I'm asking is for LAFD to make sure that their own departments, their own people, say, no, you're going to follow the rules and insist. And Chief, so you're going to be hearing from me a lot. The commission, I'm going to be here bugging you guys because it's the rules, and it's the fire rules. I mean, there's a reason why the city permit says they must keep a 20-foot, doesn't say zigzag where you can kind of zigzag in. It says a 20-foot open lane. It's in plain English, city attorney, it's in plain English. And, and so I don't understand why it's so difficult to enforce that one rule. Please. Thank you. And again, welcome, and God bless LAFD.
Our next speaker, Lee. Good morning. If you could state the items you'd like to speak on. You have 3 minutes.
First, good morning, Chief Moore. When we were at 98s, I never thought you'd be Chief Engineer and General Manager. That's great. Congratulations. Now, second thing, I'd like to have you guys change instead of every hour to the half hour station ID Morse code. Nobody understands that. KNFV 977 LA Fire. That would be the number one thing I'd like you guys to consider. Number two, it would save a lot of money. I can't F100 it, but get rid of the patch. It looks stupid on one side, and it breaks LAFD tradition. They never used to wear patches. And if a shirt needs to be re-dyed, Nomex in the sun will fade. You could just be like Nakamura. You can just dye it now because the engraved, the name sewn on in the patch. You can't, and you save money that way. That's my message. Congratulations.
Thank you. Next speaker, Rich Ramirez. Good morning. If you could state the items you'd like to speak on.
All items in general public comment, please.
You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you. My name is Rich Ramirez. I'm the second vice president of Local 112 and also a firefighter paramedic for the city of Los Angeles. I want to begin by congratulating Chief Moore on his appointment, and UFLAG stands ready to work with you to rebuild our fire department and move forward the way this LAFD should be moved. UFLAG and Chief Moore all share the same goals, and that's to have a fully staffed and resourced fire department that the city deserves. The only way to achieve that is through our ballot measure. The sales tax measure that UFLAG is moving forward with and will bring in approximately $324 million extra a year and generate nearly $9.8 billion by the year 2050. This funding will finally start to give our members the resource they need to protect the city the way it deserves to be protected. As you know, LAFD is half the size it should be. We have half the personnel, half the equipment, and half the resources that a city of 4 million people deserve. Our members cannot continue to operate with chronic shortages and without the proper tools to handle the wide range of emergencies we respond to every single day, over 2,000 calls a day. Today's agenda highlights one of those growing challenges, lithium-ion battery emergencies. I hope you guys read up a little bit on that. Right now, our firefighters are not equipped to safely handle these calls. When a lithium-ion battery fails, they can catch fire, explode without warning. These fires burn extremely hot, produce toxic smoke, and can reignite hours later. Members are going off injury on duty because of these issues. Don't get me started on workman's comp issues, getting them back. That's another thing that should be on our agenda. Our firefighters are doing everything they can, but we need real investment to meet the needs of the city. That's why UFLAC, on labor's back, with our labor's brothers and sisters throughout the city, Board of Fire Commission, Fire Department, and City Council, we want to work with Chief Moore and all of you to ensure our department gets the resources it needs. Let's move forward. I agree with you. There's a beginning, not a new beginning, but a beginning to move forward to rebuild this LAFD and give the resources that we need to support the citizens of Los Angeles and our members. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Freddie Escobar. Good morning. If you could state the items you would like to speak on.
Good morning, all items and general public comments.
You have 3 minutes.
Good morning, President Hudley Hayes, Chief Moore, Freddie Escobar, 36-year veteran of the LAFD and elected president of UFLAC. Want to start by stating a belated 250th birthday to all the devil dogs who have served in the United States Marine Corps. Belated Veterans Day to all those who served our beautiful country and those currently serving. And congratulations to you, Fire Chief Moore, to your appointment. I thank your family and I thank you in advance for your time, and a personal thank you for visiting Fire Station 2 yesterday morning. As I've stated many times in this room, we want to be a reflection of the community we serve with maintaining a minimum standard regardless of race or gender. Unfortunately, it saddens me that the standards have been modified in the drill tower not to reflect what occurs in the field day in and day out. The fire chief is aware of this issue, and I hope that it is addressed before one of us pay the ultimate sacrifice. I want to be very clear where I stand. There is no place for a hostile work environment. Being assigned back to the field, I can tell you I have no experience other than the men and women of the LAFD providing a very good learning environment regardless of what station number is on their side of their helmets, and I've worked at all the bureaus. The culture in the LAFD is a learning environment, period. Chief Moore, yesterday I asked you to stand with the men and women of the LAFD. We have a robust study that shows that we are understaffed, underfunded fire department, a fire department for the 1960s, not 2025. We need to start by getting our EITs back, which is a vital position for the safety of the men and women who wear a badge every single day and report to every single firehouse. Please join me, us, in educating the public every single chance you can. Last, with everything going on regarding the Lockman fire in the media, I would be remiss if I didn't address the obvious. Our members fear speaking up. That's probably why there's no signature on that letter. Chief Crowley told the truth, and she was fired. I told the truth, and I was removed from office. I stand with the men and women of the LAFD. I will be their voice. No one's going to bully me around. Zero. But the men and women of the LAFD today are scared to speak up, and that should be volume to everybody here. Why are they scared? The mayor and the city council members have provided a culture that if you speak up and you tell the truth, you're going to be removed, and that is wrong. And I want to address the comments that you made, Chief Hudley Hayes. I understand the staffing, but that position should not be filled until we get every single staffing in the field where the men and women are understaffed and underfunded. But I understand that you need staffing as well, but not before the men and women in the field. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Madam President, we have no more speaker cards.
Thank you. So that takes us to the report of the fire chief, Chief Moore.
Good morning. Good morning, President Hudley Hayes, Vice President DeLugich, honorable commissioners. Before I get into my comments, I'd like to address the commission, and I'd like to reiterate what you mentioned, President Hudley Hayes, as being my message to the members of the Los Angeles Fire Department, both sworn and civilian. And I think it's only fair, since many of the people in the audience who don't have access to the portal, or those in the public who watch or listen to our Fire Commission at a later time, don't have an opportunity to read it, that I touch on those. So I want to just start off by expressing how much of it's a profound honor to appear before you today for my first meeting as Fire Chief of the Los Angeles City Fire Department. I want to begin by expressing my gratitude for your partnership and for the trust placed in me to lead this extraordinary organization. The LAFD has had a long and proud legacy, one built on courage, professionalism, and truly an unwavering service to our city. As I step into this role, my commitment to strengthen that legacy and to move this department forward with purpose, integrity, and transparency. Over the coming months, what I addressed in that letter is my focus is going to center on several foundational priorities. First, enhancing operational readiness and resiliency. Whether responding to brush fires, floods, complex rescues, or major emergencies, our mission demands that we remain ready for all hazards. This requires continued investment in our people, our technology, and our infrastructure so we can meet the growing needs of a complex and dynamic city. Second, reinforcing accountability both to the public and within our own ranks. Accountability begins at home. Every member, including myself, must uphold our policies, our standards, and the values that define the LAFD. Strengthening internal accountability systems is essential to maintaining trust. Trust with this commission, trust with the public, and trust amongst our own members. Third, ensuring fair and accurate compensation for our workforce. Our firefighters and civilian staff deserve to be paid correctly and on time, without exception. I will work closely with the city, our labor partners, both UFLAC and the Chief Officers Association, and our administrative teams to fix the payroll and overtime issues that have affected too many for too long. Our people earn every dollar they make, and they should never have to question it. Fourth, rebuilding confidence and strengthening community relationships. The LAFD is present in every neighborhood of Los Angeles, and the public's trust is essential to our success. We will continue showing up with empathy, transparency, and consistency to ensure all Angelenos feel respected, protected, and valued by their fire department. And finally, investing in our workforce and leadership development. From recruitment to training to mentorship, I am committed to building a department that reflects the diversity and resilience of our city and offers every member an opportunity to grow and lead. That opportunity, as Lee mentioned, from Fire Station 98 was extended to me, and that's why I sit before you today as Fire Chief. I know that progress requires communication, collaboration, and trust. My leadership will be grounded in openness, respect, and genuine partnership with this commission. I look forward to working closely with each of you to evaluate this department, support our members, and deliver the highest level of service to the people of Los Angeles. I want to thank all of you on the commission, all of you in the audience. I've extended my gratitude to our city council, who voted unanimously for me to be in this position, and my appreciation to Mayor Bass for believing me and now allowing me the honor to continue to serve this organization. And the reality is, I'm ready to get to work. Thank you. That being said, President Hudley Hayes, I want to thank you for the comments you made because you obviously shared your concern, oh, I don't have to hold it. I've been pushing that thing like it's going to.
Like a radio.
I thought I was on a radio. I think this table's going to have a hole in it. Oh, I don't have to keep pushing the button. Thank you. I want to thank you for a meeting with me yesterday, both you and Tyler, because not only did you share your concerns, but you listened. You addressed something that's been very frustrating for me as fire chief. And through this process, is to watch my friends in the media smear our name and the work that our firefighters did to combat one of the most intense fires, the Palisades, the wind-driven monstrosity that it was that devastated a community in the city of Los Angeles. And our firefighters stood out there under these horrendous conditions fighting those fires, chasing flames as they were going 3 miles downwind, trying to save people and save their homes. And the audacity for people to make comments and say that there's text messages out there that says that we did not put the fire out, that we did not extinguish the fire. Yet I have yet to see any of those text messages, and I understand people might be afraid. And Freddie, you're right, people might be afraid, but there's a new fire chief. And I ask anybody who has those text messages to come to my office and sit down and share them with me. Because we have to take ownership and we have to fix things if they need to be fixed. But to write letters to the media and not address it within our organization is shameful. Come forward. Be my guest. Let me address those things, because we will fix those things as an organization. We will be better from it. And thank you for addressing that the Palisades After Action Review was just that. It was not an investigation. That investigation is being handled by professionals in the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, and I trust that they're doing their work. And I will do as Mayor Bass asked, and I will look into the Lockman fire, and we will look at how that was handled, and we will learn from it, and we'll be better from it. We have a city that wants to repair itself from the very top where our mayor is to the very bottom firefighter recruit that's out there. But these media attacks on our firefighters are not fair. Come forward with this information. Let us address it, and let us move forward and fix those things. And I appreciate you giving me all the way till February, Commissioner Wood-Gray. And I will take every minute you'll give me, because it's not just me that's doing that report, it's my staff, and I owe it to them that extra time. But we will have those, recommendations have already been addressed, and the plan for addressing those that have not. And I will look at anything else. Not only am I validating with those 42, but I will look at anything else that needs to be addressed, because we are going to be a better organization from this all. Thank you very much. I'm going to touch on the things I did do. I know that's what I'm supposed to do, and I appreciate this platform. But I need to tell you what I did last week. I think that's part of my report. So on November 5th, I attended a Community Police Action Board meeting at Topanga area. I had a great opportunity to speak with them and join our partners at the Los Angeles Police Department. On November 6th, I went to the North Valley YMCA Booster Dinner that was hosted by council member, also the head of public safety, council member John Lee. And I participated in the putting contest there. Obviously, I don't spend my time golfing. I spend my time with fire department. And I want to congratulate Josh Yeager for him winning the putting contest, and they raised a significant amount of money for the North Valley YMCA. Great booster, great club. On November 12th, November 15th, I did get to meet with the young women at Camp Spark and the few young boys that participated in it. And I know a lot of people have heartache. They go, why do we do a camp for young women primarily and not for both genders? But understand what we're doing for the young ladies in that organization. It's building their leadership skills. It's empowering these young ladies to be the best that they can be, in hopes that maybe some of them might join the fire department, but I recognize that some of them go off to other professions. But what it does for the young ladies ages 14 to 18 is it empowers them to be the best that they can be. And I asked them to welcome the young men that were in the group and show them a few things or two. Because gender shouldn't matter, but it was really geared towards empowering these young ladies, and I thought it was an incredible opportunity, and I got to meet with them, and I got to see the smiling faces, and everybody walked away from that smiling. And then on November 17th, last night, I endured the rain and joined the many people who attended the Grove tree lighting ceremony to kick off the holidays. It was a spectacular event, community event with a lot of singing in the rain and a lot of Christmas caroling. It's hard to believe that Thanksgiving is only a week away. But it was a great way to start it off. So thank you very much. That's the end of my comments.
Thank you, Chief Moore. We are now going to move to 3B, which is an oral report by the department on significant incidents and activities for the period of November 4 through November 18. And we have Chief Gutierrez.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Madam President, Vice President, Fire Chief Moore, City Attorney, Neverly, Command Staff, and guests. Before I begin, I do want to give a congratulatory remarks for Chief Moore. We are very confident, excited about his appointment and to lead our organization, so thank you. This morning, I'm going to report, first of all, I'm the commander of Operations South Bureau, where I humbly serve. This morning, I'm briefly going to report about a significant incident which occurred Sunday, November 16th, this past Sunday, involving a structure fire, which unfortunately resulted in a civilian fatality. Just a little after 4 p.m. on Sunday, the 16th, LAFD resources responded or dispatched to initially a rubbish fire located at the 3500 block of 63rd Street cross of Bringhurst Avenue, located in Battalion 13, Council District 8. Upon arrival, Engine 66 found a structure fire located within a one-story row of bungalow homes. The officer was quickly to realize it was not a rubbish fire, yet a structure fire, and immediately upgraded the response to a structure fire response, bringing more LAFD resources to bear. There was an initial attack under the direction of Battalion Chief Joel Perma and made a primary offensive attack and a primary and secondary search. During the search, the secondary search, unfortunately, they found a female still in the occupancy that was overcome by smoke. She was pronounced on scene, unfortunately, because of this this incident. That brings to date a total fatality citywide of 29 fire-related fatalities. That's an uptick from last year at the same time, when it was 22. And as alarming as that sounds, when you look at the national statistics on that, it's a little over 3,000. But I just wanted to make that note. This was a very unfortunate event. There were no LAFD injuries, and the fire is currently under investigation. And I'm ready to answer any questions you may have. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Our next item is 3B, and that's the same, it's going to be the oral report for that same time frame, November 4th through November 18th. But this is going to be about benefits.
Good morning, Madam President, Vice President, Commissioners, Chief Moore, Deputy City Attorney Nguyen, Neverly, Command Staff, and guests. Before I get started, I too would like to personally congratulate Chief Moore. Chief Moore and I served together as firefighters more than 25 years ago at Fire Station 33 in South Los Angeles, and we're all very proud of you, Chief.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I'm Tim Werfel. I'm the Deputy Chief of the Emergency Medical Services Bureau, and I'm here today to share an incident that occurred on the morning of November 12th last week in downtown Los Angeles. It was at approximately 7 o'clock in the morning when both the LAPD and the LAFD dispatch centers received several reports of gunshots being fired on 3 different floors by 2 suspects at 928 South Broadway. This property is a 12-story modern residential high-rise. It was doing business as the Broadway Apartments. The Metropolitan Fire Communications immediately dispatched what we call an active shooter incident, and the first arriving LAFD resources were on scene in under 3 minutes. LAFD and LAPD immediately co-located and created a unified command post. The unknown number of suspects in an unknown location of a large building such as this created many tactical challenges for law enforcement. The LAFD sent a major response with a total of 3 task forces, 8 ambulances, 2 EMS captains, 3 battalion chiefs, an assistant chief, a public information officer, and all 6 of the EMS Bureau's tactical emergency medical service paramedics and their captain. We also sent an advanced provider unit. So all LAFD resources staged for medical support near the command post. The incident commander formed rescue task forces embedded with LAPD force protection for potential victim extraction. The LAFD Thames medics formed up with the LAPD SWAT officers to systematically clear the building and look for victims. All local area hospitals were notified, and a tactical area was created 2 blocks around the building. Ultimately, the police took 2 suspects into custody after an extensive search of the building. Fortunately, no victims were identified or treated. The suspects were walking around the building, simply firing shots into the air for an unknown reason. The key takeaways from this incident, though, were the quick response and collaboration between the fire department and the police department. Though no victims were present, as in a true active shooter incident, the LA first responders proved their readiness for such an event. That's the end of my report. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Commissioners,
What was the address of that building again?
928 South Broadway.
928. Okay, thank you.
It's in Fire Station 9's first in. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Consent. 25067 is just a report on a donation from the Los Angeles Fire Department Foundation. 25071 is a report on the memorandum of agreement for automatic aid between Los Angeles Fire Department and Long Beach Fire Department. Commissioners, would anybody want to take these off of consent? Okay, can I get a motion? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was
Vice
gonna.
President Lukage?
I was going to move that we accept both reports, 67 and 71.
Okay,
A second.
there's a motion, is there a second?
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we accept these reports and that we approve the report and adopt the recommendations therein. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. That brings us to our regular agenda items, and we're going to start out with Report 25-068. This is the report regarding amendments to the Los Angeles Fire Code. Oh, I keep talking and I don't have my microphone on.
Good morning, Madam President, Commissioners, Chief Moore,
Morning.
Deputy Attorney Nguyen. I'm Chad Richardson, a fire captain in the planning unit in the Fire Prevention Bureau. I'll be speaking on both item A and B on the agenda this morning. Item A before you initiates the process to update the Los Angeles Fire Code to align with the most recent edition of the California Fire Code. This is a standard process that occurs every 3 years following updates made by the state of California. Every 3 years, the state adopts the California Fire Code, which follows the International Fire Code. The latest version, the 2025 California Fire Code, was published by the state in July of this year. To enforce these updated regulations locally, the city must amend the Los Angeles Fire Code to adopt the new California Fire Code provisions. During this process, we do not introduce any new language. We take the California Fire Code as it is adopted and add our ordinances that were previously approved through the City Council and create one large master document. The city has 180 days from the state's adoption of the new California Fire Code to adopt its own amendments. This means we must have the updated Los Angeles Fire Code in place no later than January 1st of 2026. If we miss that deadline, any local amendments would be unenforceable. So today we are asking the board to approve the transmission of this report to the City Council and Mayor for their consideration and approval. Subject to that approval, we're also asking that the City Council direct the City Attorney to draft an ordinance amending Article 7 of Chapter 5 of the Los Angeles Municipal Code. That ordinance will replace the current Los Angeles Fire Code with the provisions of the 2025 California Fire Code, including our locally justified modifications. In closing, this action allows us to begin the formal process to update the Los Angeles Fire Code and maintain alignment with the 2025 California Fire Code and create the 2026 Los Angeles City Fire Code. Staff recommends that the board approve the report and authorizes transmittal to the city attorney and mayor for consideration. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Commissioners, any questions?
I have no question.
Okay, so I believe at this time, we should in fact approve the report and adopt the recommendations.
Madam President, I move that that the board approve the report and adopt the recommendations therein of BFC 25-068.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any more comments? Okay. All approve?
Yes.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And you're going to be there again.
You get me again. Okay, moving on to item B.
On item B, which is 25070, that's a report regarding adoption of the Los Angeles Wildland Urban Interface Code.
Yes, ma'am. So item B before you initiates the process to create an entirely new code in the Los Angeles Municipal Code, the Los Angeles Wildland Urban Interface Code. This new code will adopt the provisions of the 2025 California Wildland Urban Interface Code with local modifications tailored to the specific wildfire risks in Los Angeles. As part of a new three-year cycle that will mimic the Los Angeles Fire Code, the California Wildland Urban Interface Code will establish the minimum requirements to safeguard life and property from wildfire hazards in designated wildland urban interface areas. Those zones where human developments meet undeveloped land. Until now, the California Wildland Urban Interface Code did not exist as a standalone code. Its provisions were scattered across multiple documents, including Chapter 7A of the California Building Code and Chapter 49 of the California Fire Code. If you will remember, 3 years ago when we did this cycle, we actually moved a lot of our language from Chapter 3 to Chapter 49, and now we're moving that language over to an entirely new code. The LAFD and LADBS have been working in collaboration as part of a work group over the last few months to coordinate our efforts on this new adoption as it relates to both departments. To enforce these updated provisions in Los Angeles, the city must formally adopt the California Wildland Urban Interface Code through creation of its own local version, the Los Angeles Wildland Urban Interface Code. As we do in the Fire Code adoption, we will not introduce any new language. We will now take the California Wildland Urban Interface Code as it is adopted and add our ordinances that were previously approved through City Council and create one large master document. The state published the California Wildland Urban Interface Code in July of 2025, and cities like us have 180 days from the state's adoption to implement their local versions. Therefore, Los Angeles must adopt the Los Angeles Wildland Urban Interface Code by January 1st of 2026. If we do not meet this deadline, any local amendments or modifications will become unenforceable. Today, we're asking the board to approve the transmission of this report to the City Council and Mayor for their consideration and approval. Subject to that approval, we're also asking that the City Council direct the City Attorney to draft an ordinance creating Article 7.1 of Chapter 5 of the Los Angeles Municipal Code. In summary, this action begins the process of creating the very first Los Angeles Wildland Urban Interface Code, ensuring that Los Angeles continues to meet modern wildfire safety standards. Staff recommends that the board approve the report and authorize its transmittal to the City Council and Mayor for further action. Again, thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Commissioners?
I have no questions.
So as I understand it, the consolidation is what we're looking for, as opposed to having these things just scattered across. So there's no way for us to bring all of that stuff together in one place.
Yeah, it's become such a large item across multiple venues that we're bringing it all together. And this actually started at the international level. Now California has adopted it, and then we are moving. And actually, it summarizes things that makes it easier for us to reference code.
And so we're eliminating redundancies as well.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Commissioners, can I get a motion to approve the report, adopt the recommendations therein, and make sure that it gets transmitted to the appropriate personnel?
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved.
That's-
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank
Thank
for your
you
time.
very much.
Appreciate it.
That takes us down to item C, 25062. This is the report providing an update on diversity and retention within the Recruit Training Academy through completion of probation. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Madam President,
Morning.
Commissioners, Chief Moore, Deputy City Attorney Nguyen, colleagues and guests. My name is Vincent Alvarado. I'm an Assistant Chief assigned to the Training Division, and working under the direct report of Training and Support Bureau Commander, Deputy Chief Robert Nelson. Today, the report that I'm going to speak about spans two different sections under my command. The Recruit Services section, under the command of Battalion Chief Tim Lambert, as well as the Workforce Effectiveness section, under the command of Battalion Chief Ben Culp. Before I begin, I wanted to acknowledge the management analyst assigned to Recruit Services section, Diana Asadorian, who spent countless hours with Captain Teklu, Captain Tumbleson, in creating this report for you all to view and read.
And it's excellent.
Thank you. Today, what we're going to cover is the Recruit Training Academy, probation, and retention. The top priorities of the Quality Assurance Unit, which works under Workforce Effectiveness section, and the Recruit Services section, is a commitment to operational excellence, a devotion to creating the best work and learning environment possible, where everybody has the ability to grow, evolve, and thrive with the core critical task of this profession. And last but not least, to support all members, not just the recruits and probationary firefighters, but all of our peers and staff in professional and personal development. The Recruit Training Academy, in terms of operational excellence, the standards that we are basing all of our standards on in the Recruit Training Academy are built off the NFPA National Standard 1001. Our academy not only is based off the national standard, it's accredited through the state, off the state fire marshal, and it's an accredited academy that benefits the department tremendously in terms of operations and in terms of fiscal benefit. In terms of operational benefit, this affords us the ability to be in alignment with all our partner agencies so we can work together on mutual aid responses. It also sets us up in the CICCS qualification roadmap, going back to that Palisades AAR and what we need to do to develop our young people. And most importantly, fiscally, in terms of today's fiscal crisis or budget challenges we have in the city, because we're an accredited academy, we have an ability now to get funding through additional sources outside the general fund through CalJack and VENT. Currently, right now, we have about $6 million earned through this program this year. As far as creating that best work and learning environment possible for the recruits and the probationary firefighters, each member in the Recruit Services section staff and Quality Assurance Unit are certified through the state fire marshal as certified instructors. This allows them to be well-versed in all the teaching modalities to teach the core critical tasks of firefighting. Everything from classroom to didactic learning, hands-on practice, full-scale scenarios, digital and online learning, case studies and role-playing, drilling and repetition. The following is a brief summary of the training that is delivered in the 20-week academy. When you take the first 13 weeks, it really focuses on the core critical task of firefighting. All the tasks that support our tactical priorities as incident commanders, from rescue, hazard control, loss limiting, victim stabilization, and safety. Everything from forcible entry, vertical and horizontal ventilation, auto fires, live fire training, tools and equipment, and integration of EMS or EMT skills into real-world scenarios that our recruits might face when they graduate. Weeks 14 and 20, going along with the teaching modalities we mentioned earlier, really focus on the practical application and evaluations, and recruits are trained and evaluated on 3 practical application phases that include light force operations, truck operations, ventilation, engine evolutions, drop bag in particular, the ability for a recruit to advance a hose line on an above ground structure, and 800 rescue ambulance, basic EMT ambulance services. The final weeks of the academy focus on state and department mandated training, wildland brush, hazardous material response, confined space awareness, auto extrication, fireground survival, mayday procedures that we utilize to rescue missing, downed, and trapped firefighters, and state firefighter 1 and firefighter 2 testing. On top of all that, additional training includes a ride-along program where our recruits get to ride along at the fire station they're going to be assigned to help integrate themselves into the fire station. A 2-line rope system will help our mission of rescue, high angle, low angle rescue in the field. And the rescue air cushion, a tool we utilize to assist with rescues from above ground. We have a lot of supportive resources that we utilize to help in our mission. The first one is a firefighter candidate program known as FCAP. The FCAP was specifically designed for the firefighter candidate. The mission of the program is to prepare the candidate for the rigors of the academy and a career with the LAFD. An introduction to the basic core critical tasks I mentioned earlier, from ladders to basic operations, PPE, personal protective equipment, SCBA, self-contained breathing apparatus, are all taught by academy staff. The FCAP has incorporated workouts built by certified fitness instructors with a focus on improving candidates' strength, flexibility, and ability to do the work that will be required of them during the academy and beyond. Candidates who regularly attend FCAP sessions have been shown to have a high margin of success throughout the academy. And this is a program that we really encourage for successive tools to be successful in the drill tower. Another supportive resource that right now is going through the funding means as we speak, the Injury Prevention Unit. The IPU, also known as the IPU, is available to recruits on their day off to gain professional assistance to prevent injury, enhance nutrition, and receive a personalized strength and flexibility exercise program. Another program supportive resource that we offer to our members to help them be successful throughout their drill tower and probationary period is the reassignment program. So this reassignment program allows a recruit firefighter to be reassigned in a subsequent academy. First one is the medical reassignment. If a recruit misses 4 consecutive days or more than 5 individual days of instruction due to injury or illness, when returned to full duty, the section commander, Chief Lambert, recommends reassignment to a subsequent class, provided that they have met performance reassigned standards at the time of injury. The other reassignment we have is performance reassignment. A little bit of overview. Basic engine company operations, which I mentioned earlier, the hose lays and the truck company operations, the ladders, are the bulk of the basic academy instruction and evaluation. The recruit must score 70% or above in both categories to graduate. Now, if a recruit has a score equal to or greater than 70% in one category, and their average in the deficient category is between 65 and 69%, the session commander recommends reassignment to a subsequent class. It's another supportive tool to help recruits become successful. Practical application skills, another option for the reassignment program. There are 3 phase evolutions I mentioned earlier that simulate what's expected of an entry-level firefighter working at a structure fire. The recruit must pass all 3 evolutions to graduate from the academy. If the recruit is successful at only 2 of the 3, the section commander again can recommend reassignment to a subsequent class. There's a lot of different ways that we support a recruit to be successful through the academy. I'm going to talk about the structure and purpose of probationary period. When a recruit is successful, passes the drill tower, they now move on into probation. This is where the quality assurance unit under the command of Captain Tumbleson, working for the commander, Chief Culp, this is where they fit into this report. So the probationary period for new firefighters is structured year-long training and evaluation phase designed to transition recruits from the academy to a full full field assignment. During this time, probationary firefighters apply their training to real-world operations under the supervision of experienced company officers and the guidance of the Quality Assurance Unit. The probationary period serves both as a developmental and evaluative process to ensure each member demonstrates the technical skills, professionalism, and judgment required of an LA City firefighter. So the probationary firefighters rotate through 3 separate field assignments. That's where you hear the engine, the truck house, third house, each lasting approximately 4 months. They are brought back to the training sites at the 4-month and 8-month mark for formal evaluations that assess their progress and readiness to advance. At approximately the 10-month mark, probationary firefighters attend entry-level driver training, ELDT, also known as Driver Operator 1A, which prepares them to obtain their Class B driver's license or Class C license with a firefighter endorsement and to assume driving responsibilities upon completion of probation, speaking to the operational excellence of this unit and this mission. The quality assurance, as I mentioned earlier, is the central oversight body responsible for managing the probationary firefighter. They're a tool, an instrument, a resource that helps mentor and guide the probationary firefighters from their first shift in the field all the way up into probation. And because the captains involved in this unit are so invested, it's throughout their whole career that they're a mentor. It's pretty awesome because the people that comprise this unit are the people I've worked with. They love what they do. They care about their people. They have a lot to offer, a lot of experience. They promoted through the ranks, and no better people to help guide, the future of our department than the people that they have in a quality assurance unit. When the quality assurance unit goes and visits stations, not only mentoring the probationary firefighters, but the crews, the captains, and the mentors at the stations as well. They're assessing always, is there areas to improve in operations, academics, interpersonal skills, physical ability, mental health, and depending on what they see, what they analyze, areas to improve, they have these resources ready available at a phone call notice to the recruits or even to the stations to be that supportive tool for success. Personal and professional development and positioning the department for the future. I got to say, I can't be more proud of the Recruit Services Section, Quality Assurance Unit, under the command of Chief Lambert and Chief Culp. Both members I've worked throughout my whole career with. They've taken a lot of steps to become accomplished firefighters, gone through the ranks, and no better leaders than to lead those 2 units that are leading the future of our department. The inspiration they give to their members, you can see it. These are contributors. They're people that contribute to the organization. They influence. I mean, they're not just doing their job where they sit. They're on field incident management teams. They work overtime in the field to fill vacancies. They do projects outside of their scope of work, and you can see that resonate through the people in their command. Yesterday, I go to, I'm at Training Division, Frank Koch Memorial Training Center. We have OSEP training our captains, bi-yearly on core critical tasks. Both staffs, all staffs are coming together, Recruit Services Section, in-service training section underneath me to really teach and give back, to grow and evolve as instructors, but teach the youth of our fire department. The Quality Assurance Unit, Tuesday, Wednesday, trying to give back to the fire department. They're offering remedial training up at the upper lot at Frank Koch Memorial Training Center. It's always packed, always full, ladders, hose, all the things that we talked about earlier. They're in there investing. They're coming on even days off or holidays to give back. Can't be more proud. The one thing, the telling stat when in terms of how well our units really contribute to the fire department is over the last 6 years, there's almost an 83% retention rate in the drill tower, which is pretty high when you measure nationwide or even local fire departments that surround us. Probationary period, 93% retention, tremendous number. You can really see the influence not just our units have in these numbers, but also the field working to really invest in our young people and to really do everything we can to make our young fire department successful. I got to say one thing too, and I forgot to mention earlier, the investment not only into the people, into their staffs, these units invest a lot into the infrastructure in the buildings they work and operate out of. I don't know if you've been to the drill tower lately. You have to go see all the stuff that they've accomplished in terms of just from the big structures they have, and I'm sure you saw there when you went to the Camp Spark, to the containers, to the making more room when there's no room, and really using all the skill sets of the staff to do that work. At Frank Hodgkins, we got the QA unit. I mean, they're always helping maintaining the facility. We don't have a budget for maintenance, but we have the people that are assigned to the building really coming together, and they're always out there. When we have big projects like the 9/11, they're out there pulling weeds, mowing lawns, and can't say enough. So that's the end of my report.
Thank you. That was an excellent report, actually, by
Thank
the
you.
way. Commissioners, any comments?
I think it was a very thorough report. I would like to know, do you find that it takes more time? Many of our recruits are younger than usual. Does it take more time to train the younger trainees?
I think that's a case-by-case question. It depends on the skill set that the trainee comes along with. If they have experience with the fire service, whether it be on the crew, they've been a cadet, or they have EMT experience, paramedic experience, maybe less time to integrate. Someone that has no experience with the fire service, maybe a little more time, but I don't think it's the same answer for everybody. I think it depends on the individual.
But is that taken into consideration?
Absolutely, yeah. As a matter of fact, I just spoke to the quality assurance unit, a couple of the QA captains, and just kind of asking about the frequency of visits, and then also speaking to Chief Lambert on the amount of instruction they give to the recruits. When they analyze and assess where the development is at, and they recognize there needed to be more time, then they focus and they give more time, whether it be more frequent visits in the field or more remedial time in the drill tower. They make adjustments to make sure that they give everything they need to be successful.
I like the reassignment program.
Yeah.
Because I think that's probably helped a lot of people. Do you find that's improved the passing percentage by having them reassigned?
Yeah, the data that you have in front of you, you can definitely see that the reassignment data will improve some of the retention data. So yes, when they get reassigned, when members get reassigned, you can see the increase in those numbers on those charts you have there. Yes.
And I did hear you mention my two pet peeves, throwing ladders and laying hoses. I just think it's so ridiculous that they have to pass those two items and before they, I think you've worked it out in a different way from the way I first realized it. I think you've changed it a bit. But I just think that there's so much more that firefighters learn in the training program than throwing a ladder and laying hoses. So,
Well,
I
ma'am,
think talk about that a little bit. You have
Yeah.
worked on that some.
Yeah, so when you look at, you go back to our incident priorities of life safety, incident stabilization, preservation of property, and then you go to the tactical priorities that support that, rescue, hazard control, loss liberty. You can't do that if you don't pull hose or throw ladders. That's the core critical task. That's the basics of accomplishing like those things. So if we don't do that, then we can't accomplish the mission, and then we fall short. We might not be able to do a rescue. We might not be able to put the fire out. We can't save property. So it's the core thing we do, ma'am.
But you've developed, or have you, a program where now you try to go back and retrain in those areas?
Yeah, there's remedial, ma'am. So all the supportive tools, FCAP, it really goes into the cellular level of how to throw a ladder, pull hose, designed by the subject matter experts to really, give the basics, a real fundamental approach, good technique. It's taught by well-trained, highly qualified instructors at the drill tower, and then reinforced with remedial and extra hours. So it's constantly being assessed to make sure they're there, and then like I said, you have the best trainers. A lot of these instructors in the drill tower, I mentioned in the QAU, but in the drill tower, if you look at that staff, and I just saw them yesterday at OSEP, these are all members that have promoted through the rank, accomplished firefighters. There's no better people to train them. And in fact, we had reviews because these same instructors are teaching fire captains. This is the best reviews we've had. This is the best instruction we've ever had. So there's no better people to teach than the ones we have there right now.
Thank you. I want to thank you and Chief Nelson also for meeting with me and going over some of the details of recruiting and training at an
Absolutely.
earlier time. I appreciate that service. I'll hold my questions.
Okay. Commissioner Garfield?
Yes, thank you so much for your report. It was really detailed, and it's obvious you're very passionate about the work you do, which is always lovely to see. I wanted to ask about retention rates and how the retention rates have changed over, let's say, the last few years, both in terms of ethnicity and also in terms of gender.
So when we look at the mindset, the mission, it's all based off the national standard. It's not ethnic or gender-based, so we look at rising everybody as a whole. I would say the reason why they've actually risen a little bit lately is because when we had that attrition, the 600 vacancies in the fire department had to do a mass hiring. I know Chief Goot was here, we talked about it earlier. So they had a pipeline drill tower mindset, 2 drill towers, 2 academies, drill tower 40, drill tower 81, 14 weeks to get more people out. Well, you go 14 weeks, 2 different drill towers, it's not probably the best model to get the high number of retention we have right now. So now we've evolved from that 14-week pipeline, went to an 18-week, now we're at 20-week. So I think more time, not trying to force too much down a pipe, I think has led to the more sets and repetitions, more time to really get good at the core critical tasks, hose and ladders, and I think that has a lot to do with it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Commissioner Garfield?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to have our final. We're going to have our final comment by Vice President.
Sorry. We keep stepping on each other.
By Vice President DeLucich. She doesn't give me a chance to.
Sorry. I thought you were moving on. Thank you. Thank
You're welcome.
Chief Alvarado. And I also thought this was a great report, and I really appreciate that you give credit to the people who deserve it, and I know that's how this department works. I just have one specific question, then one sort of overall question, and it sort of goes along with what Commissioner Garfield was asking. On page 3, there's a table about the 23, 24 training academy classes, and there are just a couple of really high retention numbers compared to the others. I was just curious about that because I didn't see any difference, like was that maybe because it's a 20-week versus 18-week, but no. Anyway, can you, does anything spring to your mind on why those are so much higher?
So it's a report, not on the why, but what we see. But based on what I gave the answer earlier, I would say any number that trends up is because of the changes that the Chief Lambert and the staff had made. In addition to the extra time and the utilization of the supportive tools I mentioned earlier, I think those are all contributing factors. I don't think there's one solution. There's a lot of reasons, but I would say all those combined could probably explain those numbers.
Okay, I was just curious about that. And then my other question or comment was about the probationers, the probationary period and the support probationers get. And in the paragraph right before the conclusion, you talk about the company officer mentorship and the oversight. And I was just curious if there are written materials that describe what are the consistent ways you're evaluating how a probationer is mentored? Because I know that we're very specific about a lot of skills and training, and I wonder if we have those objective and consistent and written types of, whether it's training or evaluation, does that exist? I know we do get complaints from probationers about how they're treated in the stations, and I don't know the percentage of our complaints in the PSD system, but I wonder, how consistent is the oversight and what's expected of the mentor of a probationer in a fire station?
That's a good question. Everything you just outlined, the Captain Ed Tummelson, Quality Assurance Unit, him and Captain Teklu, and a team of members. I know Central Bureau Chief Fields. They worked together, collaborated with risk management. A lot of people weighed in. They passed the departmental bulletin that outlines a policy and procedure for work environment for probationary firefighters, officer expectations.
Great.
So there is everything you mentioned, from the mentorship to the onboarding to the teaching modalities.
Yeah.
It's all outlined there. Furthermore, to reinforce, when that bulletin came out, Chief Culp had all of his captains go to the field to educate the receiving crews, to let them know about the expectation, and then further reinforce with successive visits to ensure the expectation is understood. So, yes.
Thank you. It looked like Chief Fields wanted
Yeah, I
to.
was going to say, Commissioner, if Deputy Chief Rich Fields could speak to that, he was instrumental in working with workforce effectiveness and the development of that. If you want to make a comment.
You can make a comment, and then you can also just share materials with me when you get a chance. But thank you, Chief Alvarado.
I did, Madam Commissioner, President Hudley Hayes, fellow commissioners, Chief Moore, Richard Fields, Deputy Chief Operations Central Bureau. I just wanted to speak real briefly, and I asked the Commander of Training and Support Bureau of his permission, as well as Chief Moore, to make this comment. But before I go into the document that you're referring to, I noticed in the room, and I just wanted you all to be aware of, oftentimes you always see us in the gold badge, but if you look in the back of the room, there are quite a few captains back there with silver badges on. And when we produce a document, a fire department training bulletin, a memo, we rarely, you see two signatures, but we rarely acknowledge the people who actually do the work. And this one particular incident, the document that we produced, the training document for the responsibility of company officers in creating and driving the training environment in the fire station for probationary members was, thank you, Chief Moore, was driven by Operations Central Bureau because of issues that we had in a couple of our fire stations. But if you will indulge me, I'd like to acknowledge the people who did the real work in producing that document. Chief Culp, Battalion Chief Culp, Workforce Effectiveness, Captain Tumbleson, Captain 2 Ed Tumbleson, and Captain 1 Sinead Teklu. This is where the real work happened. You see a couple signatures, but we don't do a great job acknowledging the people who helped to put this together. A lot of that work, a lot of the foresight and what our station environments should look like, we're already in conversation by the Workforce Effectiveness Group. So me just coming to them and adding our layer of collaboration was just a small part of what happens. Now, Madam Vice President, to speak to your question, and I'll give it back to Chief Alvarado, we recognize that there was a gap there were a lot of conversation about the environment at the fire station and whether it was conducive to learning, to developing our newly hired members. And while it was, and we could speak anecdotally to that, we didn't have a guiding document that clearly laid out responsibilities and some of the tactical things that should be done at the fire station to improve or to create a really conducive work environment. That document has been produced.
Great.
As was mentioned by Chief Alvarado, has been not only produced for our captains, but now is the guiding document for how they train, how they document, and then should something negative happen, we are requiring them to ensure that they have stuck to the elements of that document so that it's clear that this is a training issue, not an environment issue. And these gentlemen, the Workforce Effectiveness Group, played a large part in developing that, which you approved a couple months ago. That's the end of my comments, unless you have a question for me.
No, that's great. Thank you.
I have a question. So you said that there is a document that has been produced,
Yes, ma'am.
and it has been sent to all of those who have the responsibility for continuing the training of probationary firefighters.
Yes, ma'am. It is part of our department library now.
At this point, it is.
Yes, ma'am.
So how do you inquire to see if in fact people are following all of the things that are in that document? I'm always interested in inquiry, because I understand that you produced a document. I understand that you are explaining to people that this is the document that they should follow when they are training probationary firefighters, when they're training first-year firefighters. But if you don't have a loop that also includes inquiry, how do you know? How do you find out? How do you determine whether people are actually following? I want to acknowledge that this has been one of the best reports that I have seen in its entirety, in the fact that it includes everything, that it is comprehensive. But I'm wondering, first, that question about inquiry. How do you go back to make sure that people are doing what they're told to do in the document, number one? And number two, do your Captain 1s and Captain 2s who are responsible for the training, do they get additional training so that they understand what it means to be not just a supervisor, but what it means to be a trainer and a mentor?
Madam President, I'll be happy to answer that. So it brings me great pride to see those, that Chief Fields acknowledged those three officers. You know, my work as fire chief didn't start last Friday on my confirmation. After 30 years, I'm seeing a lot of that work come to fruition. In my one of my last assignments before Operations Valley Bureau was the Equity and Human Resources Bureau. And I was very proud to have those three officers work underneath me in a workforce effectiveness section. So about 2 years ago, I came to them and addressed the station environment and the learning environment and my concerns over the way some of our probationary firefighters were being treated. And they started working on that then. And it was under the direction of Chief Culp and Tumbleson and Captain Teklu that they started making changes then. And so when this document was created, not only did it go out to our membership and go into our library, but they went out and trained all the officers that would be receiving probationary firefighters. So that it was not just handed to them and expected for them to read it and learn it, but they were actually trained in it. And not only was it just the officers, but it was their crews that then got the training as well. Because I truly believe, and I said this yesterday in a meeting with emergency operations, that when we get a probationary firefighter, there shouldn't be an expectation that they know the job of a firefighter when they set foot that first day in a fire station. That's just the start of their development. They're coming out of the drill tower with the basics, and it's up to us to take ownership of those individuals, to welcome them as part of our crew, and to develop them into firefighters. And that may take the first house into the second house, into the third house. And by the end of their 1 year probation, they're exceptional firefighters. But it takes all of us working together. And the expectation goes all the way down to all the peers that are in the fire station. And so to answer your question, how do we monitor it? How do we check it? There's a daily report that's created. So we monitor those. My expectation, I told this to Chief Legal yesterday in charge of emergency operations, is that the Bureau commanders worked with their assistant chiefs work with the battalion chiefs, and that those DORs are evaluated on a regular basis. If there's an unsatisfactory, I want it flagged, and I want them to dive into it, and I want them to go into that fire station and look at that environment early on. I don't want to develop a culture where it's, oh, they're about to be terminated, and that's when everybody starts getting the attention. If they start showing any indication that they're struggling, I want them to look at them. I want them to find out what the learning environment is, and if necessary, change that learning environment. Our people are going to be held accountable, and if there is some bad apples out there that mistreat people because they were mistreated, they will be dealt with accordingly, and that's through the complaint management system.
Thank you.
Chief Moore, would you mind if I like to provide you proof positive to what we are currently doing? On November 12th, a probationary member had a medical emergency. The captain, and this was in Operations Central Bureau, Fire Station 6, the captain provided a very, very concise and thorough summary of the activities that were taking place at the time of the medical emergency, including the weather, the environment, where they were working, how long they were working, including the fact that all members included in that company were involved in the training activity. The steps that they took as soon as they recognized that there was a problem, the key points that they took away from that, the attention provided to the injured member, as well as their concerns and areas of that needed to be addressed, as well as one of the key factors that was included in the station environment was making sure that our probationary firefighters participate in physical fitness. That specifically was addressed in concern number 1, that physical fitness was included and that member participates with the company. Subsequent to this report, my office met with the WES office to identify gaps that still existed. We also produced a report requesting additional medical evaluation for the member to not only ensure that when they return to duty that they are competent to do the job, but to make it clear of the environment and the training that was provided met fire department standards, was not someone's idea of drilling someone into the ground, but that it specifically met the objectives of the document that we produced, that the captains are responsible for that environment. And this captain gave an exemplary example of sticking to that. And then our follow-up was internal meetings as well as meetings with WES. And then we have a next layer meeting with EOPS, the Training and Support Bureau, about some additional gaps that we've identified through this process. So we are being very diligent in sticking to this and holding everyone, including myself, accountable for maintaining an environment that is conducive and that families, the members, as well as this commission could be proud of.
Thank you, Chief Fields.
Madam President, I have a question regarding Chief Fields.
Commissioner Woods Gray?
Chief Fields, thank you. I wanted to ask you about, I had a follow-up to what you just said. I'm sorry. You look like you're ready to sit down.
Yes, ma'am.
Forgive me. How does that particular incident, how will it impact the probationary firefighter? If they are returned on duty right away, or if they are not able to return right away, or how does that affect their status?
I could only answer that question, Madam Commissioner, just kind of as an overview. And the reason for that is that my office, the operations office in Central Bureau, is not responsible for those particular elements. So you have our medical liaison unit who's involved, our risk management who's involved, as well as the workforce effectiveness who are involved in overseeing that return to duty process. So it is a lengthy answer. A lot of hands go into that before it's actually that person's return. And then obviously our medical providers, our third-party medical providers, as well as, if necessary, the city's medical division will be involved in evaluating that person to determine if they are ready to come back to work.
Commissioner, out of curiosity, are you concerned more about the work environment question or how are they supported medically and physically?
Will this take time away from them as a probationary person? Does it affect their status as a probationary person? Will they have to go back and redo some time, or?
So no, they're given a certain number of. They're getting
completed within a certain time.
They're given a certain number of days that they can take off with their sick leave. However, if they do miss an extended amount of time, for instance, let's say somebody injured themselves and broke something or have a torn ligament, and they put them off an extended amount of time, they're given a certain amount of time to return. And if they don't return by that time, then their probation could be extended. And if it's an excessive amount of time, then it could eventually be terminated if they cannot come back to duty. So in a case like this, where it was an exhaustion issue, they're treated, they're supported, they're brought back, and there is no negative impact on them whatsoever.
I see, okay. Thank you. Chief Fields, I'm happy to hear about that report and that you put out. And I would like to have a follow-up to see it and to actually meet with the people that wrote it to just go over it in details, because that's been a complaint that we've had in this particular area. And Chief Moore, I'm really happy to hear your statement regarding that also, because it's an area where we need some help, extra help. And so I'm looking forward to the progress there. And thank you, Chief Fields, and your team.
I'm going to let Vice President DeLukich have the last word. Don't go anywhere. No, you're still right there. Have the last word on this, and I want to say something before she gives her final comment. Both to Commissioner Woods Gray, and in particular to Vice President DeLukich. This has been an area that Vice President DeLukich has educated herself on. This has been a focus of one area of work that she took on when she came onto the commission and has been consistent and persistent in educating herself, in meeting with people, so that she can understand exactly what recruitment and retention looks like. And I would like to publicly say thank you to Commissioner Woods Gray, and particularly thank you, Vice President DeLukich, because this has been a focus, which is very helpful to the commission when we have commissioners who actually dedicate themselves to doing deeper education about things. And so, that being said, if you have any final comments, I'm prepared to let you make them.
Well, thank you, and maybe Chief Alvarado could come up again, too, just again to thank you all, and thank you, President Headley Hayes. And I learned a lot when I went to meet with this group last week, and even though we were focused on the cadet program, I could tell that you all have a very broad and deep understanding, commitment to recruitment and retention, and recruitment, hiring, and retention. So I really appreciate the direction this is going. I appreciate that more resources have gone into these two departments, into the recruit services and the quality assurance unit. I think it really is going to pay off in a big way, and I'm really glad to hear that these things are being codified, that people can refer to it and are held accountable to it. So I just want to say I'm really appreciative of the work that you all are doing. And again, it was a great report, and I appreciate that you wanted to give the report so you could brag on your people, and you have done that.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I would like to move this report, unless anyone,
Okay.
oops, but looked like Commissioner Woods Gray wanted to move the report.
Yeah, can somebody, so we've had the report.
I just wanted to thank Chief Alvarado and Chief Nelson because they met their goal. You met your goal, and you went beyond that, I think.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, if there are no more questions or comments, I would like to have a motion to receive and file the report.
Madam President, I move that we, that the board receive and file BFC 25-062.
Okay, it's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries.
Thank-
Thank you.
thank you.
Such a comprehensive report.
You're welcome. Like I said, it was a lot of
To the
Diana.
And I want to
Yeah.
thank you for acknowledging your team, which we
Yeah.
actually do not do and we should be doing. And I want to thank Chief Fields for his work and his leadership in making sure that all of this has come together and in producing the document that needed to be produced, that lays out guidelines. So I want to thank everybody for that. This is very
You're welcome.
important.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are now down to 25069. Is that it?
We're at 72.
Report by LAFD Hazardous Materials Joint Hazardous Assessment Team Unit. You're going to be providing updates. Oh, this is what you, Commissioner Woods Gray, were interested in, right? Updates on the lithium ion batteries and alternative
Yes,
fuel
to
hazards.
see what we're doing with that.
Correct?
Yes,
Good morning, President Headley Hayes,
Thank you.
Vice President DeLukich, Fire Chief Moore, fellow commissioners, and Everly. My name is Rich Thompson. I'm the Captain 2 assigned to the Hazmat Seaburny JHAT section. I'm in charge of the Hazmat program there. This report here is an update from the initial report that I presented to you regarding our training and initiatives that we're taking and implementing here on the LAFD regarding alternative fuels back in June. So since then, we've been continuously, in the report here, we've been monitoring some of the legislation that is being put in place or pending to be put in place that will dictate some of how we do business on the LAFD regarding to our training. So regarding those legislations that I initially put in the initial report and in this one, all of them are still in the ongoing phase. They're all still pending there at the state level, going through their processes and pending. The biggest one we are watching is that Assembly Bill 588, the lithium-ion battery workforce or work group. One, to get the LAFD on that work group to help dictate some of that, how that's going to move forward, and how we're going to do business here in the Los Angeles city as well as the state of California, being we are one of the leaders here in the state regarding these incident types. The one that we're no longer watching is Assembly Bill 696, which was the Vehicle Battery Advisory Group. That has been vetoed at the governor's office, so that's no longer in the running for dictating how we're doing business. But the remaining of the bills, they are still in the pending process, getting the different adjustments to them prior to going to the governor's desk for approval. Moving on with that, just like Captain Richardson from the Fire Prevention Unit was up here, there are going to be some changes regarding the energy storage systems as well as how some batteries are stored due to the updated fire code, which will then, once we get that implemented in January 1, in my shop, we will take a look at it and work with the Fire Prevention Unit and figure out how we're going to make those changes and implement that to the field and train them on what they should be looking for moving forward to educate them. We're also currently working with City Council Member's Office, Tracy Park. She has approached us to do a report to the Public Safety Committee regarding UL, United Laboratories, set standards for lithium-ion batteries. There's a few out there that we are recommending that the City of Los Angeles adopts for all leased, sold, rented devices that use lithium-ion batteries to help reduce some of the incidents within the City of Los Angeles. This has been done already in the City of New York, where it has reduced some of the incidents, but the biggest impact they've had since implementing these changes has reduced the amount of deaths related to lithium-ion battery events, fires, as well as injuries throughout the City of New York. So we're looking to do the same. Disposal and cost recovery programs. We're in continued talks with our Coupa unit here in the LAFD, working out how we could develop an environmental response team through their shop to help reduce some of the on-scene times with our fire companies while they're working out the hazardous waste removal of these lithium-ion batteries on scene and any large-scale events that we have moving forward with the energy storage systems. The hazmat staffing, this fiscal year 26-27 budget proposals, our shop, with support of the LAFD, we were able to implement the staffing to fully staff Hazmat 87 and Hazmat 48. 87 is in the valley. Hazmat 48 is down in the port. Those two initially, historically, were fully staffed back in about 2009, prior to the blackouts and the recession, which then that staffing was cut from those units. We are fully recommending those units get fully staffed due to the increase of workload that's been on our hazmat teams, as well as the significant amount of alternative fuels that are going to be introduced into the City of Los Angeles over the next 5 years particularly. We also made progress within my shop, the JHAT captain positions. The positions you have listed in there, those are currently fully staffed within the LAFD, but those are grant-funded positions by the Urban Security and Initiative grant through the federal government. That is on the verge of getting cut, the funding here in the City of Los Angeles, which would dramatically impact my shop as well as these positions here that provide tremendous amount and critical information to the LAFD in preparing, whether it's training, becoming subject matter experts, or advancing technologies to help us navigate this alternative fuels. Public education, the LAFD, through the commitment of the CO's office, has continued to work with social media campaigns, getting information out there, whether it's proper charging standards to educating the public on looking for UL-rated devices, and fire safety when it comes to with alternative fuels moving forward. As far as training goes, we're continuing to look at what training is going to need to be provided to the LAFD and how we could best do that. We did have some members that attended a newly developed course called Alternative Fuels and Flammable Liquids Response and Management course that was held out in Pueblo, Colorado. It's called AFIRM. This is one of the first courses that have been developed nationwide to help start preparing firefighters for the response to alternative fuels. Funny part was everything in that class that these instructors were teaching on were all LA City incidents. So we had the ability to kind of educate them on some of the background, how we mitigated those incidents moving forward. But it just showed how LA City is the front runner when it comes to alternative fuels and how vital it is that we continue to be that front runner in developing our training curriculum and how we're preparing firefighters moving forward. At that training, we had the opportunity to do some live-scale burns and evolutions on both how these alternative fuels are going to be transported, all the infrastructure that is in place right now to transport, say, hydrogen, compressed natural gas, liquefied natural gas, lithium-ion batteries. There's no underground infrastructure to move this product. So the only way currently right now to get it is going to be on the rails or the roadways or through shipping, which is now in turn going to impact even further the responses on our hazmat teams and our firefighters moving forward. We've also had the ability to attend multiple conferences related to these type of incidents to further understand and gain knowledge that we can bring back to the LAFD to start developing that alternative fuels curriculum and beginning those networks with those outside agencies that we're going to have to network with to help navigate these through the future. We also recently teamed up with In-Service Training. We held a lithium-ion battery symposium here at Frank Hotchkiss Memorial Training Center, where we were able to educate members both on the hazards and mitigation and strategies and tactics regarding lithium-ion batteries. We teamed up with FSRI and UL as speakers, myself and a scientist from their laboratories, to educate the both firefighters at over 70 different agencies and almost over 1,000 firefighters, both in person and online. We also had Tesla out there, which they partnered with us and brought their products to educate the firefighters on the location of batteries and safety components that are in the vehicles for themselves, as well as Department Sanitation was kindly enough to bring out their new electric trucks, as well as LAUSD also brought out their new electric buses to educate firefighters on safety when it comes to emergency responses with those vehicles. Lastly, some newly updated and identified recommendations when it comes to this report as we were writing these. First and foremost, we're asking both the LAFD and the Board of Fire Commissioners to recognize and support the budgetary requests and the critical operational needs of both staffing the hazmat 87 and 48, as well as putting the JHAT positions permanently as a resolute authority on the LA City budget, so we don't have to worry about next year's grant funds. How much is it going to be? Is it even going to be there? The JHAT positions, they've been here since about 2003. We've added one more since then, recently, just because the demand of the alternative fuels and training on the hazmat teams and our firefighters. So that's why it's imperative. We lose those positions. It goes down to we go down from 6 members in that shop down to 2 members in that shop, which is dramatically going to cause a significant amount of decrease in the training and our availability to stay on top as this technology continues to advance. As the fuel systems continue to advance, it's really going to hamper our ability to become subject matter experts to provide that to the firefighters in the field. Also, we're looking at identifying an appropriate gas meter to help the members in the field identify the appropriate gases on these incidents to make sure it's both safe for firefighters to operate on or off air, as well as the public when it comes to rehousing the public that had maybe a lithium-ion battery fire in an apartment building on that floor. Is it safe to get those members back in their homes, or do we need to continue to ventilate and making sure we're doing our best to protect the public moving forward? Another item that we have came up with that we're going to start working on a white paper for is an alternative fuels response vehicle. Look at establishing one of those as a flex model staff program, one in each battalion, to help to reduce the response time of those events. And as we start to look at other technologies, and whether it's extinguishing agents to extinguishing equipment, tools and equipment that might be necessary for these events, we'll put those on that apparatus and have that ability to respond and provide better coverage to the citizens of Los Angeles. And last item that we are looking to develop is we need to locate and construct a permanent hazardous materials training site. We're one of the busiest specialty work groups within the LAFD, and we do not have a dedicated training site. We are partnered right now with the Regional Marine Training Center down at the old Drill Tower 40, but space is limited there. And as we're looking at adapting and evolving and developing an alternative fuels training curriculum for firefighters here, not just for the LAFD, but for the region, we need more space. I am working with third-party vendors that develop these fuel systems and these alternative fuels. They have been graciously and kindly willing to donate training equipment to us so we can educate our firefighters on the fuel management systems, the tanks, really educate, make them feel comfortable on seeing what they're dealing with, but I need more space to be able to do that. So we're in the process working with both the Office of Public Safety of the Mayor's Office, GSD, and trying to identify where we can maybe kind of get some land possibly donated at a very cheap rate and just try to keep the cost down in the LAFD as we're looking at budget shortfalls coming up. But I don't want that to hinder our ability and our progress in providing the safety of the public and the firefighters. So that is the conclusion of my report, and I'm ready to take any follow-up questions.
Commissioners? Commissioner Woods Gray?
Oh, I thank you for that report. There's a lot of new information in there from the time we first started. And I can hear that it's a very complex complex situation, just as we thought it would be, but it's something that's very necessary. I was happy to hear that Tesla had come out to one of the events where you were. Is there any movement toward trying to partner with different other places that have other car dealers, for instance, that may have all of them have electric cars and vehicles with those batteries in them now. So I wonder if there's any effort, or is there something that we could think of, because we'll always need funding to help establish, like a new place for you or whatever.
They did reach out to us, a couple other manufacturers when we were holding this lithium-ion battery symposium. Just unfortunately, they were unable to make those dates. But just like I'm working with the third-party vendors that develop these fuel systems and alternative fuels, they've been very cooperative in wanting to assist the LAFD. My mission here with this alternative fuels is, like I said, we had to go all the way to Pueblo, Colorado for A class. That's the only class in the United States right now for alternative fuels for firefighters, and seats are limited. What I'm trying to do with that training site and developing and gathering these donations when it comes to fuels is not only to build one for the LAFD, but it also will be a regional and the first one in the state, let alone the West Coast. But we could be the front runners, LAFD.
It sounds like that's a good plan. I like it. And I thank you for the work that you're doing. Just keep up the good work. I see it's a work in progress.
It's definitely a work in progress just because the technology is constantly changing.
Yes.
The battery chemistry is changing due to some of the safety considerations with the way that the batteries are designed now. That's going to, now cause us to have to start developing new tactics, possibly new strategies, identify new tools, as well as new fuel sources that they're working on right now in different laboratories that are going to be coming out that will bring even newer challenges to our fire service when it comes to combating these emergencies.
Thank you. I'm just happy to hear that you're on top of it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I think Chief Moore wants to make comments.
Commissioners, first off, I'd like to thank Captain Thompson for the work they're doing with JHAD. I actually had the opportunity to open up 2 sessions of the lithium-ion symposium you guys offered with in-service training, and the attendance. We had people from not only all over the state of California, but all over the country that came, including Mexico. They're very cutting edge. The Los Angeles Department is by far the leader in this technology and how to handle these type of emergencies. We've had our challenges and they've been tested, and we've risen to the highest level and being able to not only combat those type of incidents, but to educate others and prevent injuries. The threat to our members is real. It really is. This is an area that, what frightens me is as we near the holidays, you can go on Amazon and you can get lithium-ion batteries in just about any single toy, and they're relatively cheap. And they're showing up in people's homes, their garages, their cars, on airplanes. So again, the threat is real, and what our members are having to do to train, protect themselves is challenging. And so we, as the fire department, have put their request into our budget. So you will see it as we forward this budget to the mayor's office to address the staffing issues that Captain Thompson has risen in his report. And we're doing everything we can to ask for the support of the mayor and the city council to be able to support that financially, to be able to ensure that if we do not get this grant funding, that we have an ability to be able to support what the threat is.
Oh, that's great. I also appreciate the fact that you're doing a public education, education part with the program, because it's extremely important that people understand that the danger, because a lot of people don't understand the danger of those batteries. And I'm happy to hear that you're doing that. Thanks for including that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
My only question is, when you ask for the commission to support you, can you tell me how you want us to be more supportive than just listening to your report and saying that we're in support of? That's tacit supportment, but do you want the commission, for example, to prepare a document and send it someplace saying that we are fully supportive of all the things that you're doing? Sometimes people come to the commission from the fire department, ask for the commission's support, and then we just say, yes, we support it, and then it's just gone. We don't do anything about it. Are you recommending that we take much more proactive measures as a commission to support this and to get it where it needs to go, and to give it the kind of substance that it needs to have.
All of that, obviously. My main priority, first and foremost, is to ensure that we have the infrastructure in place, and that starts with the position. So I've attended and listened to multiple commission meetings as you guys speak, and ma'am, I've heard you even speak about the importance of visiting council offices and stressing your priorities as a commission on the LAFD budget of what you want to see it get across the finish line, whether it's a hard no or hard yes, or whether we're willing to cut that or we can negotiate this. So my first request to you would be then, as you're having those conversations with the LAFD budget for the 26-27, is that you prioritize these requests when it comes to the JHAT positions and the staffing the hazmat resources.
Okay.
Particularly the hazmat resources for sure, because the response times are astronomical when it comes with this flex off model that we're currently doing right now. And like I said, by the elimination of this grant funds, the work that Commissioner Woods Gray praised us on would actually significantly decrease if we don't have these positions. So that would be my main request to you. The second request would be in conversations, if you're having with council offices and they're asking what we need, would be that training center. To start identifying some land that's either city-owned or working with our partners, both state and federal, of a land that we're able to get our hands on, like I said, at a very cheap rate of some sort, whether it's a lease, loan, whatever, at which we can start developing a full-fledged training facility for future firefighters.
Thank you.
So the answer is yes, Madam President. And then we're also going to look at some public-private partnerships to see if we can get corporations like you mentioned, Tesla and some of the other auto dealers, to join us in creating some sort of training facility that's sponsored by those private partners.
Madam President, I was looking here, he has a lot of Assembly and Senate bills. I was wondering if there are any of those bills that we could help to support.
I think right now they're all still in the very council stages and committee stages where they're working out the final legislature and the verbiage inside the documents. I think maybe once those get approved and signed by the governor's office, I would come back definitely to you to see with your connections at the state legislation level or at the city level that we can push to the state level. Like I said, because a lot of them are just work groups, basically. This is still very new in the fire service. There's still a lot of unknowns. So they're still even trying to navigate this world. So to push LAFD to be one of those front runners on those committees so we can help kind of guide that and navigate that and be the first to bring that back here to the citizens of Los Angeles.
Well, once it becomes a bill, that's when you should let us know.
Yes, ma'am.
Because once it's passed or not passed, it's too late. So that's when you should let us know. If it's a bill that you're really interested in wanting to have passed, that's where we could have input. So let us know. Keep us informed as to when the bills become bills. When the Senate and the Assembly starts to vote on them, that's where we can have an impact.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Ms. Hill, can you make a note of the fact that the commission probably needs to prepare a document that we can send to the mayor, to the city council, on the commission's own letterhead? And we will try, commissioners, to put together some talking points, because all of us have connections with our own council people, but we also have connections with other people on the city council. So as we're talking, we all need to be on the same page in terms of what our talking points are, what we want to have happen. But specifically, just make a note so that we can prepare a document on the commission's letterhead to the mayor and to the city council about our support. And potentially, can you talk to me about what that might look like?
Yes, ma'am. I can meet you at any time and we can discuss that
Okay.
moving forward, or giving you that data that you're going to need for that
Okay.
document.
I'll have Chief Moore find a time where you can be detailed and I can come down and we can talk about this, because it's incredibly important that we do more than just say, thank you so much for the report, and then just receive and file it.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Any more questions? Okay. That brings us to our last report.
Oh, Madam President, is a motion in order?
Oh, I'm sorry, we need a motion. I
Oh,
forgot.
okay.
Madam President, before you guys entertain a motion,
Yeah.
Is Vice President DeLugas going to be returning to the
I
meeting,
can't
or
hear you.
she's absent?
Is Sharon coming back?
She's not coming back.
Okay, thank
No.
you.
Oh, thank you. Can I get a motion to?
Madam President, I move that we receive and file BFC 25-069.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Now that brings us down to our last report, 25072. This is the report regarding the Los Angeles Fire Department's Community Emergency Response Team. Good morning.
Is this call-out team?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners, Chief, City Attorney, Ms. Hill. My name's Sonny Marcioni, and I'm a captain that's assigned to the Disaster Preparedness Office. So I'm here today to provide a summary of the department's proposal to formally adopt the CERT Call-Out Team Volunteer Program. Now, the Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT, as many know it, it was developed by the LAFD back in 1987, and it has become a cornerstone of community resilience and disaster preparedness for the city of Los Angeles. The success and commitment of this volunteer cadre has yielded a group of trained volunteers who have expressed the desire to take on greater responsibility and provide additional value to the LAFD. So the proposed call-out team formalizes this expanded role for them. Now, the call-out team consists of CERT members who have demonstrated consistent participation, a strong service commitment, and a willingness to complete additional training. Now, while remaining separate from the standard CERT curriculum, the call-out team maintains the same core mission of supporting community resilience and enhancing disaster preparedness. Through their training, they can be used in specific non-hazardous incidents to provide logistical support for fire department operations. So examples of this would include staffing hydration units at major incidents that we have, patrolling high-hazard areas on critical fire weather days, supporting wires down responses while awaiting the arrival of DWP, and also just assisting with logistical bases, reunification centers, and disaster recovery sites. So just to emphasize that all of these assignments are non-emergency and would never require a response with lights and sirens or to drive emergency. To ensure the safety and accountability, the program includes a defined command structure where the call-out team members will report on scene to the incident commander and administratively to the CERT unit commander, who in turn reports to the disaster preparedness officer and the assistant chief who is assigned to special operations. So the call-out team members must complete extensive prerequisites, such as being live scanned, there's driver safety training, ICS or incident command system coursework, and ongoing refresher training, which would allow them to only operate recommissioned LAFD light vehicles clearly designated for logistical use. The department has piloted a program in 2024 with the call-out team responding to over 300 incidents. These incidents range from hydration and logistics, logistical support, and also patrols. So notably during this time, there were no injuries. So this obviously demonstrates both the commitment to safety of the program and the professionalism of the volunteers. So Personnel Services has also confirmed that the program meets all city volunteer requirements, including insurance, documentation, and policy acknowledgments. So the formal adoption of the call-out team program would strengthen our department's operational capacity. It enhances safety through additional non-emergency support and also expands community engagement with the LAFD. So our department is in full support and approval of the call-out team program, and obviously we request your support. So thank you. If you have any questions.
Commissioners?
I have
I'm
no
sorry,
questions. I just think that
Commissioner
it's, I just want to commend the program because I've watched it over the years and watched it grow and watched the training that's taken place in my neighborhood, in my own church, as a matter of fact. We had a CERT team so that we could know how to evacuate the church and have a CERT leader there. So it's a good program, excellent program, and I commend the volunteers who do the program. I support the program. It's a great program. One that we haven't had to use as much, but that's going to be in place when we do have a real emergency in the city. We will need CERT. Thank you for the report.
Madam President, if I can make a brief comment.
Yes.
So
More.
I'd like to acknowledge two individuals who are just sitting in the audience, hoping I probably wasn't going to call on them, but I think they deserve to be recognized. If I could get Miss Christy Adair and Chin to stand up. I had the opportunity to work with both these individuals, and let's give them a quick hand. Thank you very much. I didn't mean to embarrass you, but I want to acknowledge them because
in there either.
while I was in South Bureau, Chin was my partner from CERT. He led the CERT group in the South, and then in the Valley Bureau, Christy Adair led the Valley Bureau, and we actually have recognized them for their incredible amount of work and effort that they do. If I had a civilian battalion chief or an assistant chief, these two would definitely be them, because the work they do to organize and continue the training for CERT members in their areas is commendable, and they do a tremendous job, not only keeping the training, but also encouraging new people to join as CERT members. So I want to thank them. They've been bothering me, and I say bother because they actually did it on purpose, about the driving opportunities and getting this initiative moving forward for about the last year. And it took a lot of work, a lot of coordination by members of this department to make sure our I's were dotted and our T's were crossed, to make sure that what we were putting forward was a sound program that supports them in every single way that possible, but supports the city of Los Angeles and our memberships. So I want to recognize them, but there's also a lot of unrecognized people who are not here today that do an incredible job with CERT, and I want to thank them all publicly for the work they do. So thank you very much to all of our members in CERT.
So also, what I want to say on the record, as we are thanking you for the tireless hours that you spend, this is what makes a fire department and a city great. These people are volunteers. They don't get paid to do what they do. They spend countless hours doing what they're doing. And so basically what they are is they are public servants that rarely gets acknowledged for the amount of hours that they put into making sure that the CERT program is strong, making sure that the call-out team happens. And so I want to add my thanks to Chief Moore. I'm sure that there are hundreds of CERT volunteers that are not in this room, and we are thanking them as well. But I want everybody to understand that this is what people do when they are public servants. This is what people do when they say it's our job as residents to do our part in keeping the city safe. And so thank you very much for that. Commissioners, any more comments? No, okay. So the recommendation is that we approve the formal adoption of the Call-Out Team Volunteer Program. Can I get a motion?
Move to amend.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the formal adoption of the Call-Out Team Volunteer Program. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposition? Motion carries. Before we adjourn, I want to say that I'm confused about something. Are you laughing at me? I'm always confused about something. There was a comment made about the mayor and the city council that somehow or another made it seem like they were creating a hostile work environment or some kind of hostility. And I'm not really sure where that thought came from, but I have to tell you that I disagree. I don't understand how the mayor and the city council should be told that they're creating a hostile work environment, or they're making it so people can't come forward and say what they need to say. And I know there are a lot of people who are looking the same way my face is looking, but I'm not sure how those two things mesh in my mind. And I feel that I would be remiss if I simply said I don't understand. There is a hostile work environment, by the way, within the fire department that needs to be looked at and that needs to be taken care of. And that I realize that Chief Moore has said he is going to look into that and he is going to take care of that. Chief Fields said, that he has put a document in place so that we are clear now that we have absolutely got a document and a procedure and a process on how rookie firefighters, probationary firefighters are going to be treated. So clearly, if all of us are agreeing that those steps need to be taken, there is some kind of a hostile work environment going on within the Los Angeles Fire Department that is going to be looked at and is going to be taken care of and is going to be taken seriously. I don't understand what this other thing was about the mayor and the city council having anything to do with what we're talking about, which is an internal issue that will be addressed. Because I have heard Chief Moore say that he's going to address it, and I am fully supportive of him having been appointed the permanent fire chief. So now we have stability. We have someone who is going to, in fact, take these things seriously. That is my final comment, because I didn't understand how those two things got conflated in my mind.
Madam President, thank you for addressing that, and I couldn't agree with you more. Having spent the last 2 months going through a process that was pretty rigorous to become the fire chief of the Los Angeles Fire Department, I can tell you this, that I stood the entire time on being transparent and my commitment to transparency. And it was supported by the mayor of Los Angeles, and for those of you who were at my hearing, my commission hearing in front of council, supported by all 12 of the attending city council members. As a matter of fact, the ones that weren't there had already voiced their approval of my appointment to fire chief at the public safety hearing. So I can tell you that every single city council member is 100% behind me in my desire to be transparent. I have made that promise to the members of the Los Angeles Fire Department. There is a certain culture that is going to be addressed, and I can assure you that I will address it. I think every single one of my bureau, I can tell you both my chief deputies and my bureau commanders know how I feel about it, and they know that I am not messing around when it comes to addressing a certain culture. So we're going to make some change, and I think the members of the Los Angeles Fire Department are open to that idea of change, and they are welcoming it, and they want it. And so thank you very much for addressing that, and I agree with you. There should be no reason for anybody to be afraid to come forward and speak to me if they've received any of those type of messages, because I will be more than happy to address them in any way, shape, or form that I need to. So thank you very much for addressing that, Madam President.
Which has nothing to do with the mayor or the city council. Okay, thank you. So can I get a motion to
Madam President,
adjourn?
just before we adjourn,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
can
ahead.
I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving? And please stay safe.
Motion to adjourn?
It's been moved. Do I have a second? Second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded for adjournment. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.